Yes, so this is the last part of the chapter. We have come towards the end of the chapter. So what we have studied in this chapter, we have studied different types of reproductions. We have studied asexual reproduction, under that so many types. Then we have covered sexual reproduction. So the last part of the chapter is reproductive health. So reproductive health. So as you know that there are other processes in our body that are taking place like nutrition, respiration, excretion. So it is important to maintain those processes also, and it is equally important to be fit reproductively also. So that fitness in the reproductivity, that is called reproductive health. So as you know that the sexual changes in the body, they appear slowly, and as in along with that the body is growing also, but at the time of the puberty, so there are sexual changes which are appearing in the body, and these changes are very slow. So if the body is showing sexual changes, it does not mean that the body is ready to have the sexual activities and the body is ready to have a child. So in crux, in gist, you can say that sexual maturation does not mean that one is ready to have a child. Clear? So you know that population of India is exploding. So there are some methods, there are different types of methods which one can adopt to prevent these unwanted pregnancies, and there should be, and there is an urgent need to have a general awareness in our society regarding the advantages of small families. Okay, small family is a happy family, we say that, and sufficient spacing should be there between the successive births and prevention of unwanted pregnancy. So this is only possible when one has the proper knowledge of the different contraceptive methods of preventing the fertilization. So that all we are going to study today. We are going to study today the different types of methods by which the pregnancies can be prevented, and some diseases which can be transmitted sexually by unprotected sexual activities. Yeah. So first of all, you should know what is birth control. So birth control, the regulation of conception by preventive measures and devices to control the number of offsprings is called birth control. Birth control in simple language, controlling the reproductive rate. So that is the regulation of conception. What is conception? We have already studied. Conception का मतलब क्या है? That is the fusion of the male and the female gamete, and then the implantation is taking place. So the regulation of conception, that is the fertilization, by preventive measures and devices to control the number of offspring, means to control the reproductive rate, that is called birth control. And how is it done? Is it done by some methods or devices? So the methods or devices of birth control which deliberately prevent fertilization. Prevent fertilization means stopping the unwanted pregnancies. So if you know that what is fertilization, that is the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete that will lead to a fertilized egg, and that will go to the uterus for the implantation. But if the fertilization is prevented, that means then there will be no growth of the embryo, there will be no implantation, there will be no growth of the embryo. So then the pregnancies can be prevented. So these methods which are used, the methods or the devices of the birth control which deliberately prevent, deliberately means these are used by the people. Okay, deliberately the people are doing. It is not a natural process. So natural process, I told you, which we have studied, that if the semen is discharged into the vaginal tract, then it will go and fertilize the female egg. So that is a natural process. But deliberately preventing the fertilization by using some methods or devices, that is referred to as contraception. Contraception. Okay, conception means when the fertilization is taking place, that will lead to conception, and the methods or devices of birth control that are preventing fertilization, that are called contraception. So contraception is an opposite word of conception. Okay, conception means fertilization, but to prevent fertilization, that is called contraception. So contraception is opposite of conception. So now what are the methods which can be used? Which are the contraceptive methods that can be used to prevent fertilization? So these methods are broadly categorized as follows: barrier methods, chemical methods, intrauterine contraceptive devices, natural methods, and surgical methods. So out of these two, if I say from your examination point of view, IUCDs and surgical methods are important. Clear? So we will discuss them one by one. First of all, barrier methods. What do you mean by barrier? The word barrier itself tells the meaning. So barrier means something that is obstructing the path. So something that is obstructing the path means the semen is not going to the egg to fertilize it. So we are preventing the fertilization from the happening by using barrier methods. So these are the physical devices to prevent the entry of sperm in the female genital tract during copulation. So it is the prevention of the entry of sperm that will not enter into the genital tract during copulation, and it also protects against STDs. What are STDs? Sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, these are known as STDs. So STDs are sexually transmitted diseases which can occur, which can take place by having unprotected sex. So also protects against STDs. Some barrier methods are condoms are there. These are simple but effective and widely used contraceptive that has no side effects. It checks pregnancy and prevents the deposition of semen in the vagina. So it acts as a barrier. If there is a barrier in between, so that means the semen will not be deposited in the vagina, and if there is no semen containing the sperms, then there is no fertilization. Then next is femidom. Femidom is not a common contraceptive method. It's a thin rubber-like tube which fits inside the vagina. So it is used by females before coital activities. Coital activities means before copulation. So diaphragm, third is diaphragm. That is a kind of cervical cap it is, and it is flexible rubber or plastic cover fitted over the cervix in the vagina. So I have told you diagrammatically, we have studied the structure of the vagina. I hope you understand that first the birth canal is there and then the uterus is there. So the beginning of the uterus is called cervix. So this cover is put in on the cervix to check the entry of sperms into the uterus. So these are three methods. These three are barrier methods which are preventing the sperms to enter into the genital tract. Yeah, but they don't have any side effects also because they are just on the spot methods which are used. Then second methods are chemical methods. Chemical methods, they do have side effects. Okay, some side effects they have because these are chemicals which can act in the body also, and they can lead to some side effects. So what are the chemical methods? Some foam tablets, jellies, paste, creams, and spermicides are some common chemicals used by females that are placed in vagina. So these are the chemicals which are placed in vagina, or they can be taken orally also. Orally means through mouth also they can be taken. Some pills. Pills are some small tablets which can be taken orally also, and vaginal pills which can be placed inside the vagina also. Okay, so these are the some common chemicals that are used by females that are placed in vagina. So these chemicals, what they do, they adhere to the mucous membrane. Adhere means stick. So these chemicals, when applied inside the vagina, they stick to the inner lining of the birth canal and immobilize and kill the sperms. So what are they doing? They are immobilizing. So I told you first there is semen deposition, and after that they have to swim upward to the uterus to fertilize the egg. So if these what are these chemicals doing? These chemicals are making them immobilize. Immobilize means then the sperms are not able to move further and they are killed by these chemicals. Okay, so under this category, two types of pills are there. Pills are the small tablets which are taken. So oral pills are the tablets which are taken through mouth. It is used to check ovulation. What is ovulation? I told you. What is ovulation? It is the release of the egg by the ovary. Okay, it is release of the egg by the ovary. But if the ovary will not produce any egg, so there will be no fertilization, because there will be no egg for the fertilization. So these oral pills, they go and affect the hormones of the body. So oral pills which are taken, they used to check evolution. Check means stop. Means then if these oral pills are taken, then the egg is not produced by the ovary. So these are mainly hormonal preparations which prevent the development of egg and ovulation. So then the egg is not developed and there is no ovulation. So these are affecting the hormones of the body. So if there is something which is affecting the hormones of the body, then there will be side effects also, uh, because it is used to affect the natural process of the body. So the natural process of the body, I told you that there is a sexual cycle which goes on in females every month. So if there is something that is obstructing the cycle, so that will have side effects also. So if you will tamper with the natural process of the body, so then some side effects will occur. So that's why these oral pills, they act on hypothalamus region of the brain, which is responsible for stimulating the pituitary gland, and then pituitary gland is responsible for regulating the hormone secretion via ovaries. Which are the two hormones I have told you? Estrogen and progesterone, which is secreted by the ovaries, and it is regulated by the pituitary gland that is present in the hypothalamus region of the brain. So these are called oral contraceptives. Okay, OCs, we also call them OCs. These are oral pills which are taken via mouth, but they affect the hormones of the body. Uh, though they prevent fertilization, but they also release in some side effects. Okay, they should not be used for a longer time. Then vaginal pills are also there. Vaginal pills are small tablets which are placed inside the vagina before the copulation. So these are drug preparations which contain spermicides. इनमें क्या होता है? They contain spermicides. Spermicides are the chemicals which kills the sperms. So drug preparations which contain spermicides used before copulation by women. So these are the chemical methods in which chemicals are used. They are affecting the hormones, but they do have some side effects also. So they should not be used for a longer time. Under this, oral pills and vaginal pills are there. Then next, third category is IUCDs. Full form of IUCD is intrauterine contraceptive devices. So what are these devices? These devices are made up of copper, plastic or stainless steel. So there's one very widely used device is copper T. Copper T is a small device which is fitted inside the uterus of the female. Okay, inside the female uterus it is fitted, and it is preventing the implantation process. So what it is preventing? So you know what is implantation? First, the sperm has to swim and it has to go to the fallopian tube to fertilize the egg, and then the fertilized egg is coming back into the uterus, and when it is coming back to the uterus, it has to stick along the wall of the uterus. Then only it will be able to grow into an embryo. ठीक है? जब fertilized egg is coming into the uterus, and first it has to stick along the wall of the uterus, then only it will start growing into an embryo. So if there is no implantation, if the fertilized egg which is coming and it is not stick along the wall of the uterus, then there will be no growth of the embryo. Growth will not take place. And that is done. That implantation is prevented. Means the implantation is not successful in this process if copper T is placed inside the uterus. Okay, it is a small device. Is the shape of copper T is like T only. T-shaped device it is, and it's made up of copper. It is placed inside the uterus so that the fertilized egg which is coming to the uterus for the implantation, it is not able. So this copper T is blocking the path of the fertilized egg. ठीक है, क्या कर रहा है ये? It is blocking the path of the fertilized egg so that the fertilized egg cannot come to the wall of the uterus and get implanted there. So copper T, what it is doing, it is preventing the implantation in the uterus. And others are also there, which are loop shaped, spiral shaped, ring shaped, bow and shield also. And it can be placed up to 5 years also. So this is also one kind of good method it is, so which can be used for 5 years. But there are some drawbacks also. So what are the drawbacks of using copper T? There can be bleeding and discomfort, and it may come out even without the woman's knowledge. Okay, so these are the drawbacks of using copper T. Copper T is a device made up of copper, which is placed inside the uterus by a practicing doctor. Means you have to take care, one has to take care that if any person, if any woman wants to get it inserted, so then it should be done by a good skilled doctor or a nurse. Okay, otherwise there can be infections or there can be discomfort also. So first it has to be done by a skillful doctor, by a skilled nurse, and it should be it should be kept in a proper place. So these are the drawbacks, that there can be bleeding and discomfort, and it may come out even without the woman's knowledge also. Okay, so this is under IUCDs. Copper T is there. So you should know what is copper T and where is it inserted and what it does and for how many years it can prevent fertilization and what are the drawbacks of it. Clear? And fourth are the natural methods. Natural methods means in natural methods nothing is used. No mechanical, nothing artificial is used. So these methods just include abstinence. Abstinence means avoid copulation. So there is no copulation, then there is no fertilization because there is no sperm to fertilize the egg. And rhythm method is avoid copulation around the time of ovulation. So I told you when I was telling you about the sexual cycle, in the sexual cycle, 14th day is the ovulation day. So on the ovulation day, so there are some 4-5 days that are called ovulation period, which is the most fertile period, and in that there are 99% chances are there for the positive pregnancies. So avoid that time, avoid copulation around the time of ovulation. This is also one kind of natural method, which is called rhythm method, to avoid, to prevent fertilization. Clear? Then next, fifth is surgical methods. This is important. From exam point of view, it is also important because vasectomy and tubectomy are two surgical operations done in males and females respectively. So what are these and how they are done and where they are done? Okay, so these are the, you can say, these are the best methods to prevent fertilization because it is a permanent birth control. Permanent birth control means if it is done, so then there are no chances of fertilization inside the female uterus. So it is safe in the long run, but may cause infections and other problems if not done properly. So initial stages, at the initial stages, one has to be careful about getting it done. It is a small surgical operation. जिसको हिंदी में वो बोलते हैं नसबंदी बोलते हैं. Okay, so nasbandi, what is that nas? So that you know that vas deferens and fallopian tubes are there, which are the pathways of the sperm and the eggs. So that are cut, means that are broken and that they are tied. So what has happened? You should know what is the difference between vasectomy and tubectomy. So vasectomy is a small surgical operation performed in males. Okay, difference. It is a small surgical operation performed in males. So in males, it is called vasectomy, and in females, it is called tubectomy. Vasectomy in males, tubectomy in females. And what it is a small surgical operation. And what is done in this, क्या होता है इसमें? It involves removal of a small portion of the sperm duct. Now what is sperm duct? The path of the sperm from where it travels from the testes to the semen. In the seminal vesicles, you know that the secretions are adding from the prostate gland, from the Copper's gland, in the seminal vesicles. So that is semen. Already fluid is there, and sperms are coming from the testes to join the semen, which is there in the prostate gland and the Copper's gland. So then it has to, then it is ejaculated. So what is happening here in vasectomy? It involves removal of a small portion of the sperm duct. What is the sperm duct? That is called vas deferens. You know what is vas deferens? Vas deferens is a small tube which is coming from the testes, and it is carrying what? It is carrying sperms from the testes to the seminal vesicles they are going, and it is joining with the semen, with the fluid. So sperms are, they are traveling from the vas deferens. So if the vas deferens is cut in between, so then the sperms will not be able to come and join the semen in the seminal vesicles. Yes, so this is done, what it is done here, that it involves removal of a small portion of the sperm duct or vas deferens by surgical operation. Okay, दोनों को काट देते हैं, and the two cut ends are then ligated with threads. So जो दो cut ends रह जाते हैं, that are joined, ligated means tied, so that they are tied with thread. So this thread, they are chemically coated, which do not corrode inside the body, and it prevents the sperms from coming out. So you know that sperms are coming from the testes, and via vas deferens it is coming. So if the vas deferens is cut and tied between, so then there is not a proper continuous pathway for the sperms to travel and come into the seminal vesicles. So that means it is preventing the sperms from coming out. So this is the procedure which is done in the males, vasectomy. And same kind of procedure can be done in females also. So in females, it is known as tubectomy. So it is surgical operation performed in females. And what is done here? It involves removal of a small portion of the fallopian tubes by the surgical operation. So you know, fallopian tubes are the sites of the fertilization, and they are also the pathways, and they are also known as oviducts. Oviducts, why? Because the ovum has to travel from the ovaries to the uterus. So ovaries से जो egg produce होता है, that is called ovum. So ovum has to travel to the uterus via fallopian tube. So now if the fallopian tube is cut in between, so then the egg will not be able to go to the uterus. So that is done here. So it involves the removal of a small portion of the fallopian tube by surgical operation, and the cut ends and then ligated. The cut ends are then ligated. ऐसा नहीं कि दोनों cuts को दोबारा जोड़ देते हैं. No, the cut ends are separated, means there is a small gap between the fallopian tube and the vas deferens, so that there is not a continuous pathway for the sperms and the eggs to travel. So they are cut and then tied with threads. So what it does, it prevents the egg to enter the fallopian tube. Okay, so means it will not, it means you are breaking the path. So both vasectomy and tubectomy are also known as methods of sterilization. Sterilization means when there is no fertilization occurring. So there are no chances of fertilization, means that stage is called sterilization. So if there are no chances of fertilization, that is called sterilization, and these do not affect the normal life also. Okay, if these are done, so it has no effect on the normal sexual life, and there are more benefits also, that it is a permanent birth control. Then no need to put the devices, and no need to use any barrier or chemical method, and moreover it is reversible also. At any time in the future, if the person feels that they want to have another baby, so it is the process which is reversible, which can be done again. So it is reversible, and it is not too costly also, and there are less chances of infection also in these. Okay, so these are, you can say, these are permanent birth control processes, vasectomy and tubectomy. So this is how it is done. See, so vasectomy in males, you can see these are the vas deferens from, these are the two vas deferens which are coming from the testes. So these are cut here. So you can see here, vas deferens are cut and then they are tied. So separately they are tied. There is no connection between here. So same happens in the tubectomy. Fallopian tube is cut and then tied separately. So there is no continuous pathway from for the egg to come to the uterus, and here for the sperms to come to the to join the semen in the seminal vesicles.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, only 8 minutes are left, and I have posted the form also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Student, please fill the form.
Yes,
8 minutes are there, ma'am.
Okay. So this was about the methods of these were contraceptive methods to prevent the fertilization. So the last part is the sexually transmitted diseases. So some diseases can be transmitted sexually, because in this process, in the process of sexual activities, the bodies are intimate with each other. So there are chances of getting transmitted these diseases. So first of all, you should know that what are these diseases. So you know that diseases are caused by bacteria, viruses, protozoans, fungi, and many other kinds of pathogens are there. So these are called infectious diseases. But some infectious diseases, they are concerned with the reproductive parts and are transmitted through sex. These are sexually transmitted diseases, or in short, we call them STDs. And these are also known as venereal diseases. Here, so STDs, that are sexually transmitted diseases, are also known as venereal diseases. So what is the definition of sexually transmitted diseases? The infectious or communicable diseases which are spread from an infected person to a healthy person by sexual contact are called sexually transmitted diseases. And the common among them are, so two types, under two types they fall. First are bacterial diseases and second are viral diseases. So bacterial diseases which are caused by the bacteria. Under these we have two diseases, gonorrhea and syphilis. And viral infections are two, that are HIV/AIDS and warts also. Okay, what are they? We'll discuss. So first bacterial infection is, that is gonorrhea. So gonorrhea is caused by a bacterium, Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Okay, it's a species, it's a genus of the bacterium. And why we use bacterium here? Bacterium means singular, because in normal we use bacteria. So bacteria is a plural word, means we talk about so many bacteria. But if I say bacterium, then I'm talking about one single bacterium. So caused by a bacterium, that is Neisseria gonorrhoeae. You have to remember the name also, that what is the causative agent, causative bacteria of gonorrhea, that is Neisseria gonorrhoeae. And symptoms are burning sensation, pain during urination, inflammation of the mucous membrane of the urinogenital tract, pus from the penis, excessive secretion of vagina. So these are all the symptoms of gonorrhea, and it spreads by sexual contact and through infected clothes also. But this disease is easily curable with antibiotics, like penicillin is there, ampicillin is there. So these are easily curable. Then next bacterial infection is, bacterial disease is syphilis, and it is little bit you can say more chronic than gonorrhea. So what is the difference between the two? That syphilis, it occurs in stages. Syphilis stages में occur होता है. First there are mild symptoms, then it can be deadly also. There can be nerve damage, there can be heart disease, and person can die also. So syphilis is little more serious, it is more chronic than gonorrhea, and syphilis is more easily spread than gonorrhea. Here it occurs in stages, it is more serious, and it is more easily spread than gonorrhea. So it is caused by bacterium. Which bacterium causes syphilis? That is Treponema pallidum. You have to remember. So it is caused by the bacterium Treponema pallidum. What are the symptoms? Symptoms are mild flu, tiredness, sore throat, swollen glands, headache and muscle aches, sores in mouth, infection in genital tracts, and lesions. So it begins from the mild symptoms, that is mild flu, tiredness first, and then if left untreated, it can be serious also. So then genital tracts infection and lesions. Lesions are the small cracks which can start appearing in the tissues. That is the breaking of the tissue, which can happen in the genital tracts. And then afterward, there can be nerve damage, there can be heart disease, and then it can lead to death also. So it is more chronic form, you can say, of bacterial infection, more serious than gonorrhea it is. But if it is detected, if it is diagnosed at the early stages, so it can be cured easily with antibiotics. Clear? So these two are the bacterial infections. And now we'll talk about viral infections. So there is a viral disease also, which is a sexually transmitted disease, that is called AIDS. Okay, what is the full form of AIDS? The full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, take care of the spellings when you learn it. So acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Syndrome means a disease. So AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by a virus named HIV. Now, what is the full form of HIV? HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. So you have to remember. So AIDS is caused by a virus named as HIV. HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. So it is fast spreading incurable disease, means it does not have any cure, which weaken the body's immune system. So you know that virus, if it enters the body and if the person's immune system is weak, so then it is very easy for the virus to take up the body. So I think you know the nature of the viruses. So virus, they are dead when they are outside in the environment, and as soon as they enter the body, they become live. Okay, then they started taking over the immune system of the body. So which weaken, you know about the coronavirus also. So that is also, if it is in the air, then it is dead. But if it comes, it enters the respiratory tract, then it becomes live and then it takes over. So it depends. That's why we say that immune system depends that how much there will be the damage caused by the virus. So if the body's immune system is strong, so then there are chances that the body, you know that so many people who have suffered from corona, they have recovered also. So why they have recovered, that depends on their body's immune system. So those who have stronger immune system, they recover faster than the others who have weak immune system. So you need to have a strong immune system if you want to fight with the viruses. So it is a fast spreading incurable disease. We are talking about AIDS here, which is sexually transmitted. So fast spreading incurable disease which weakens the body's immune system. And HIV virus was discovered in 1984 में discover हुआ था ये by an American scientist named Robert Gallo. Okay, one American scientist was there named Robert Gallo. He discovered the HIV virus in 1984, and first case of AIDS in India, it was reported in Chennai in 1986. So this disease can manifest in two major ways. Manifest means it can spread. It can appear. It can appear in two major ways. First is malignant tumors in connective tissue. Malignant means which are deadly. Two types of tumors are there, if you know. So benign tumors and malignant tumors. Malignant tumors are deadly. They are dangerous. Benign tumors are not so dangerous. Okay, they are small infections which can be cured. So malignant tumors, that means deadly tumors in connective tissues. If there is a tumor in the body and if it pains, so you know these are the small bumps which appear on the skin first, and if there is a pain inside that bump, that means it should be treated on time. If there's no pain, then these are normal. Okay, if there is a pain, then it needs to be needs attention. Then attention need to be paid to the painful tumors. So malignant tumors are the dangerous tumors in connective tissue. And okay, class is going to be over, so we'll continue next time. Only little part is left. Okay, so by the time you can read, I will share these slides also with you. Prepare it and give the self reading also to the chapter. And last NCERT questions are left, that we will discuss next time. You also find out the question answers, and please give a thorough reading, and don't leave the PT1 syllabus also. Keep on